Happy Wednesday, Brazos Valley. It is time of year where the tropics need to be watched, and almost all of a sudden, looks like things are starting to wake up a little bit. So we'll begin with a look at the tropical satellite, and if you're just looking at it, you maybe see a couple areas of disturbed weather, some showers and storms along the intertropical convergence zone. But if you focus in on a couple areas, these tropical waves that the National Hurricane Center has outlined, and you were to look at basically any model that goes beyond 5 or 6 days, you would see a little something. Now, there's a lot of uncertainty to go along with that, especially in these days before any real organization happens, but the NHC has these areas outlined for something to watch. The potential for organization into tropical depression or stronger, 50% that one in the middle, and then 40% that tropical wave that is just now off the coast of Africa. Both of those may be worth watching for the East Coast, especially that one in the, we'll call that South Central open Atlantic. And then, if you look on the left-hand corner of your screen, got a little area to watch in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, it is far less impressive of an area. There's nothing really to note, at least on satellite. But this area, especially in longer-range model data, starts to get a little bit more disturbed, a little bit more organized, and tries to churn something up over the next about 5 to 10 days or so. So the Gulf of Mexico is giving credence, or the National Hurricane Center is giving credence to that and saying, okay, we need to watch this. Long-range model data, two different systems that we're looking at that have at least something forming out there. This is a weak trough, maybe perhaps just an area of enhanced moisture, or something stronger than that. And it kind of depends on which model you ask. Now, a stronger ridge of high pressure that we are certain will set up just to the north of state of Texas could push this thing well off to the south and west of the Brazos Valley. That's the current thinking right now. That's where you'll see it in the 10-day forecast. But there is still a potential that if this ridge is centered a little bit farther to the north or a little bit weaker than currently forecast, where we could find some showers and storms here locally as we go into early next week. So these two different scenarios of really many are kind of the ones that we're watching right now. But to be honest, it's pretty low confidence because before we even get to how strong this low pressure system could be, how long it keeps itself in the Gulf of Mexico, you got to figure out how much steering power that ridge is going to have. So all that to say, there is still a lot up in the air about this particular system. And the thing is, it is going to have a lot of steam to it if anything is able to get going. That's another reason that the National Hurricane Center says this is worth watching. We're talking bathwater across most of the Gulf of Mexico. Temperatures well into the 80s and even approaching 90 degrees in some spots too. So like I mentioned, if you look at the 10-day forecast right now, we're reflecting that stronger ridge that has us more under that influence than it does any tropical activity. Though early to middle part of next week, that forecast could change, and it could change in a hurry. Right now, though, we're rolling with what has been a little bit more consistent, but there's not a ton of consistency just yet. So while we're cooking for the next 4 or 5 days or so, it will be worth watching the forecast as we head into next week.